Very good morning to you. Thank you so very much for staying with us here on Global Television. We're delighted, as always, to welcome you to Global Morning. First Monday of a new year. What more can I say? It's 5 days already into the new year for those of us who still are living in 2026. I mean, follow your calendar. I'm Muyi Agumofegbe. I'm delighted, as always, to be here. And it brings a little more delight knowing that Jumai Manson, the lady who brings the spark to Global Morning 5 days a week, is also on the program this morning. A while ago, Jumai was talking to me about a lot of things. Outfits, hair, I mean, what women. Jumai, it's good to see you.
Women, they say. Good morning, Mr. Lee. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
And of course, all of, to each and every one of you out there, good morning. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Yes, the first Monday of the year 2026, and it's great to be alive. It's an amazing time, and it's great to be here doing it side by side with Mr. Muyi Agumofegbe.
Right.
Yes.
Well, quite a number of things happening right now, whether you're looking at it from the domestic front or, internationally. Of course, on the international scene, we've got plenty to talk to you about on the show today, and then we'll domesticate the conversation at some point to also look at one of the issues that give Nigerians so much of concern right now, even though it's already been implemented, the issue of the new tax laws, quite a bunch of it, all right, in 4 different sets. We'll talk about all of those in details with our experts, but we'll also look at the foreign scene and see what has happened the last 48 hours with the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, who we understand is now in detention in New York, right on the soil of the United States. Of course, there has been a build-up in this direction for quite a number of years, but it will appear things have come to a head as it stands right now. What is ahead is part of what we'll be discussing on the program today.
And of course, I am looking forward so we can throw more light on this issue of tax. And that's a major concern for so many individuals in Nigeria. Talking about, I saw a very funny social media post, and the girl was like, you were supposed to send the 200,000. I said, but I'm only seeing 3,000. I said, but 197,000 has gone in for tax. And she was like, what? So people have different mindset, different perception when it comes to this tax laws. Talking about the amount that tax will be deducted from a particular amount. But I'm sure once we throw more light, and there's this awareness, I think it will settle in more, and we'll try and understand what this is all about. But for now, there is apprehension everywhere.
Right. I think our people need to understand, first of all, what is taxable, depending on what you earn, whether you're an individual or a body corporate, as they say. Then who are those exempted or exempt, as they say, from paying taxes under these new laws? We'll talk about that. And then we'll also talk about issues around the controversy regarding alleged discrepancy, because there's now the allegation that there's some sort of, if you like, divergence between what the Senate had passed, I mean the legislature, Senate and House of Reps combined, and what is now gazetted or what is now being implemented. That is very important. I mean, we need to put that on the table for our viewers this morning. We also need to talk about some of the issues that were raised before the laws were passed by the 19 northern governors. They raised concerns, and they also put those issues in front of the president. They said, look, these are generally our concerns, and we understand those issues had been resolved. Therefore, why do we still have concerns today? Why do we still have some political elements playing out regarding these new tax laws? We'll look at all of those for you as well in the course of the program today. But first off, we'll take a quick break. The rest of Global Morning returns shortly. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
This weekend has been full of so much happenings, some of them very depressing, unpleasant,
dramatic,
even unprintable. Yeah, we've also seen those that are inspiring, uplifting, and elevating. One of them is what we have seen happen in Niger State, where we understand terrorists had killed at least 30 people, injuring several of them. Of course, we also know that the president now has ordered the military and the police to go after all of those behind these dastardly acts, as is often called, and bring them to book as quickly as possible. The president says he believes that these are those criminal elements, terrorists who were running away from Sokoto State following the strikes by the U.S. In that part of the country. But whatever the reason may be, whoever they may be, the president's message is clear. They must, operative word, must be brought to book. And that has to happen as quickly as possible. This U.S. narrative about the insecurity in Nigeria has redefined the landscape now, whether you like it or not, because we now see what looks like increased efforts on the part of the military. We now see the president speaking more proactively. We now see the president a bit more focused on these security concerns, whether it's at home or it's abroad. Of course, we understand the president is in Europe, all right, at the moment. This week, we understand, or sometime in this month, he's going to have to join his counterparts in the UAE for a summit that focuses on sustainable development and things like that. But in the meantime, domestic issues are very important. Issues around insecurity, especially for a country that is going into an election in no distant time.
Exactly.
We have seen in this country in 2015 where even politicians had told us there was a reason to move election by a couple of weeks. At that time, 6 weeks were being proposed because of the insecurity in the Northeast, especially in places like Borno State. Are we going to have that same scenario play out this time, I mean in 2027, given what we are now seeing today? Because whether you like it or not, these terrorists may be running away from one part of the country to another. The important thing is that ultimately they are still on our soil. So what are we doing to take them out altogether? We've seen, we've heard even Ambassador Yusuf Chuga, Minister of Foreign Affairs, say that, look, more strikes are likely going to come again from the U.S. But nobody's providing detailed information. Nobody's providing clarity or precision as to what exactly the partnership between the U.S. and Nigeria is in this regard. But ultimately, Nigerians want to see the end of insecurity as we know it today.
Of course, we want to see the end of insecurity. And at the moment there, we all were relaxed that with this, with what happened in Sokoto, everything will come to not really an end, but at least there'll be a level of sort of calm.
Right.
We won't hear of insecurity in other states and all of that. But to hear this in Nigeria is really hard breaking to see that these terrorists do not want to stand down. They feel you cannot defeat us, and they will continue to cause more havoc, if not in Sokoto State, but other states close to that particular region. And it's just unfortunate that this is where we are. But at the same time, thank God for the rest of the president, meaning that this particular menace will have to come to an end, whether it is liked or not, it will come to an end. And those behind it which definitely face the wrath of the law. So at the same time, well, let's see. This, like I always say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So let's just see how well this plays out. And I hope these individuals who have committed this sort of ill in our society will be brought to book.
Yeah, of course, they have to be brought to book. And talking about bringing people to book, the U.S. says that is what it has now done with, or maybe we should say doing, because it's an ongoing process, with Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela. That war, in a manner of speaking, has been on for a long time. It started, in contemporary times, in the days of Hugo Chavez, former president of Venezuela, whom Maduro succeeded in 2013. We've heard rhetorics from the U.S. president as it stands today, talking about Donald Trump. We've listened to Marco Rubio, Secretary of State. We've listened to quite a number of officials from the White House, including, for example, the Defense Secretary, or the one Trump would proudly call Secretary of War. We've heard about all of those, all right? But what exactly are the core issues that are integrated into this fight, the tussle between the U.S. and Venezuela. First of all, the U.S. says, look, Nicolas Maduro has been accused of what they call narco-terrorism. That means that his government is pushing is pushing narcotics into the U.S. Exactly, and really that narrative doesn't look good.
It doesn't
on
look
any
good
level. To have been accused of such for a president, not just a ring leader or a gang leader. I mean, you could say that in the days of Escobar. You could say that about quite a number of people, including El Chapo. But now this is a president who was, quote unquote, democratically elected, even though all the elections, the 2 elections that brought him into power, have had several question marks over them, including this one. As a matter of fact, so much question mark that the legitimacy of the presidency of Maduro is not in doubt by the U.S. In fact, you feel that this government is a rogue government. That's the way the U.S. sees it. Because up until the days of Biden even coming into Trump's presidency, they believe that Juan Guaido, the opposition guy who happens to be the leader of parliament, is the recognized president of that country because they believed he won the election. But let's talk about Maduro for a second. This is a man who came from being a bus driver all the way up to becoming the president. First by becoming the vice president to Hugo Chavez, who died in 2013 on account of cancer. And then before he died, he had named this man as his successor. Since 2013, he has been in power. Records are there that he has used every means available to him, power, money, even influence beyond the shores of Venezuela to win elections, silence opposition. As a matter of fact, even before now, the International Criminal Court has started doing investigations around him with a possible indictment for crimes against humanity. And for a sitting president or head of state or head of government, once you get to that point, it becomes quite concerning. And Donald Trump is very clear about his narrative, saying that, first of all, you are guilty of narco-terrorism. Second, you are pushing gangs, prisoners, ex-convicts, hardened criminals into the United States. If you listen to him in 2016, going into the election at that time, he talked about it a lot even during campaigns. Coming back into the White House, he has not changed. If anything, he has doubled down on that narrative. And Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, says that several offers, I mean, this is from the U.S. side, had been made to Maduro to say, look, we can give you a safe passage out of the government, just leave the government, just let's die this whole thing down, let's quiet the whole thing down. But of course, Maduro is very clear in his words. He says he doesn't want what he calls a slave's peace. All right, so it's more like a man saying, I would rather die honorably than be alive and hand over my own freedom, all right, to my opponent or to my enemy as it stands. There's a video of him while he was already in New York with 2 policemen holding him, and he's wishing everybody a Happy New Year. Right, it's quite interesting. Right, but not much of information has been provided by the U.S. authorities regarding his wife, because we understand he was probably taken alongside his wife from Caracas all the way to New York, but we are not so clear as to whether his wife is also being detained in New York, or if somewhere in between she was left on the soil of Venezuela and all of that. But this looks like it is not something that will end anytime soon, because just before you jump in, Juma, we understand that there has been a simulation, like a game, that had been played to see, more like a theory, what will happen if Venezuela was to be attacked by the U.S., or if the president was to be taken out by the U.S. and all of that. And we understand there will likely be some sort of chaos that will take a long time to resolve.
Of course. And, at the same time, he has loyalists when it comes to issues like this. So we just hope, let's just see how well this plays out. But for the country as a whole, they are very happy. They've been jubilating on the streets.
Even outside of the country.
Even outside of the country, there have been jubilations everywhere. So you can imagine that, of course, his regime wasn't very palatable to a lot of individuals, especially the citizens of that particular country. But at the same time, let's see, hope this is... for everyone that sees this, they might say, okay, for as much as the United States wants to jump in, intervene in this issue, there's always a motive. There's always something. They have mineral resources that they want to scoop from or something. But at the same time, let's just look at it in a lighter mode and realize that this is for the greater good of Venezuela. They want Venezuela to be a country of no, there shouldn't be corruption and all of that. And of course, it's taking a toll on the citizens.
Right.
But let's just see how far this plays out. But like you said, it's not going away anytime soon. This is something that's going to prolong for a while.
Right.
But there is an interim president, by the way. So let's just see. Someone else has been.
There is the vice president,
Yes.
Delcy Rodriguez, has now been okayed by the courts in Venezuela to take over. And the U.S. is fine with that. In fact, the U.S. before the court even waded in had said that she should take over. However, President Trump created provided a sort of proviso, or if you like, a caveat to say, look, you must cooperate with the U.S. You are the president now, all the way from being a vice president. You must cooperate with the U.S. You must not be seen or thought to be seen to be anti, or as they say in America, anti-US.
Anti-US.
Right? Yes, you've got to align with US best interests. Of course, President Trump has unequivocally said that US firms are moving into Venezuela, all right, to begin to drill oil. You see, that's why the element of saying
exactly their resources.
Your eye has always been on the oil, right? So, I mean, it's just barely after the man had been taken out. I mean, Maduro from the presidential palace in Caracas, that President Trump announced this. So that is, well, to say that the U.S. is clear about its interest. But there was also a question Jumai asked regarding Maria Machado, who is now, some people say, number one opposition to Maduro, all right, who many persons believe should be a better president. To say, look, if you're removing or if you're deposing, so to speak, Maduro, why don't you make Machado the acting president, pending when proper electoral process is carried out and then a president is elected? President Trump says that Machado does not have the respect of Venezuelans. Therefore, she is not the right candidate. But it appears that the U.S. has done, you know, Jumai, these are not decisions taken based on mood or state of mind. These are strategically thought out decisions.
For a long time. It has been, it's not something that they just thought of and, remove him from seat and from power and all that. This has been something that has been ongoing, just like what happened, all of these intervention. Of course, it was really thought after for a very long time. There was, like you said, strategies and all of that put in place. I'm sure they must have done their investigations very well. Of course, the United States, you cannot compare their investigation board compared to what we have here or what some other countries have. It's something that they must have gone into thoroughly before this particular decision is made. And of course, you can see the jubilation on the streets in and outside Venezuela. Of course, this is the right step in the right direction. For some, it is long overdue. So for some, what have people been waiting for too long? This man has been in power for too long. He should go. And well, let's just see how well this plays out. Like I said, like you mentioned earlier, it's going to be something that's going to drag for a while. But let's just see how it works out, and let's see. Let's just be for the greater good of Venezuela and, of course, the people of Venezuela.
Properly said, Jumai. Well, let's take a break, everyone. And now time to pump some motivation and inspiration into you. Monday, first working day of the week. Here is Ramsey Enoch Agbo with Inspirational.
Hello and welcome once again to Heart with Ramsey Enoch. Today, I just really want to encourage someone because we need to encourage ourselves. We need to be encouraged. Why do we need to encourage ourselves? Because everybody's capacity is not the same. What you can withstand is different from what I can withstand. There are ways you handle issues, situations of life that I don't even know at all. But we need to encourage ourselves. And that's showing love too. Because if I decide to encourage you, I'm trying to show love. Let me just say this, that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day spring. And I will try again tomorrow. This is coming from Mary Ann Radmacher. Courage, as it is often misunderstood as bold, dramatic, and being somebody that is full of action. Courage is beyond that. Courage is beyond that. All right, this is a misunderstanding, but then everyone is entitled to their thoughts. But I would like us also to know that courage is not always being bold, being dramatic, being able to talk, being able to look into everybody's eyes and tell them the truth. Courage is personal and unseen. It can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. Listen, I said courage, can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. You try, you failed. You try again, you failed. You try again, you failed. Most of the inventions that you see today is something that was done by some set of people. The first time they failed, the second time they failed, the third time. In fact, at the end of it, people were not believing in them anymore because they were already known to be failures. But then courage gave them the boldness. Courage gave them the mindset that we need to keep doing it until we get it right. We won't stop doing it. People will tell you, well, if you're doing the same thing the same way, you cannot get a different result. But it even takes courage for you to do different things, different ways, and get the result. Because after the first set of failure, you may just don't believe in yourself anymore. You may not have the courage to do it anymore because of what people will say. People around you might be saying so many things at a particular time. Some people may tell you, well, is it must you do this thing? But you want to get it right. They don't know what is the drive, what is behind it. So it doesn't matter how many times you fail. Have the courage to do it again. Give it a try. Do it a different way, but don't stop doing it until you get it. And that's the reason I said when we talk about courage, it can be the decision to face a new day after a series of failure. To speak up when it's hard or simply keep going. All right? Speaking out when it's hard. When no one believes in you, you still keep speaking it. Because you know that, yes, if you have the courage to say it, if you can say it, you can seize it. That's what courage is. So what do you have to do? You should know that courage is also to simply keep going when everything in you says stop, stop, stop. Human beings are saying stop. The circumstances is saying stop. The economy is saying stop. Everything is saying stop. Even your body system is saying stop because you've done it over and over and over and over again. But then you have the courage. You are a courageous man, you are a courageous woman, and you have a target, you have a pursuit, you have a result that you're working towards. And you say, no, I'm not going to stop until I get to the end. I'm not going to stop until I get the result. That is how a courageous man move. That is how a courageous woman move and think. Whatever I say as far as this speech, this inspirational, this heart-to-heart discussion is concerned, I want you to know that your mentality needs to be up and doing. Your mental ability matters. A lot of things will want to stop you. The economy is fighting. It could even be people within your cycle. Do you know how many people are smiling with you today, but they go behind to say different things? Do you know how many people are flaunting themselves around you today? Do you know how many people are condemning you behind? Even if you get to know these things, because there is something you are after, something positive, you don't need to stop. You need to build courage and keep going. Even when everybody said enough is enough, you don't stop. Even when everybody is saying, hey, come on, Must you die doing this thing? Tell them. You will achieve your aim in life and destiny. And that's the reason we need to be courageous in everything that we do. I'm not talking about hypocrisy right now. I'm not talking about sycophancy. Trying to do what you know you cannot do. That's not what I'm saying. But when you have a vision, when you have a dream, when you have a pursuit, no matter the darkness, no matter how things are getting very difficult, no matter how there are signs telling you to stop, you don't have to stop. Have the courage to go. Don't care what people will say. Because whatever you do, people must say something, whether positive or negative. So what do you have to do? Just keep pushing. Be courageous and know that everything pointing to you stopping should not stop you. Be courageous. Let me let you know also that courage lives in persistence. In silent strength, there is courage. And in the everyday struggle of the ordinary people trying to do the right thing. And this quote beautifully captures the essence of quiet bravery. Courageous people are not noisemakers, but they are determined people. They want it done and they want it done. No matter the obstacles, they want it done. They might not be noisemakers. They might not be talking every time, but they are brave people, very intelligent people. And I also like to let you know that the quotes that I spoke about earlier acknowledge that sometimes the most heroic act is not found in battle cries, but in the determination to keep trying, courageously trying. Everyone has days when they feel defeated or lost. You are down, your system, you keep pushing your system, you can't do it anymore. Someone once told me a story about the army officers when they are doing press up, and they do it to a point that their body system can't carry them anymore. What carries them at that point is their heart and their mind. You see them keep pressing on. So what am I trying to say? Be courageous in everything that you do, especially if you know that it is the right thing. Choose to rise, not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. Thank you very much for listening to us today on Heart to Heart. It's good for us to talk heart to heart. There are some things people can't tell you ordinarily, but then when you listen and watch Heart to Heart, you get to hear those things that will keep you going to help you achieve your daily target, your monthly target, and your yearly target, and the courage to keep moving, achieving what you need to achieve in life. Many thanks for watching Heart to Heart today. My name once again is Ramsey Enoch. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. All right, you're welcome back. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television. And at about this time is a newspaper review segment. I'm going to start with the first paper of the day with lots of adverts on it. So we're just going to pick the headlines on it. And it's the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate, it says, brace for anti-tax unrest. NRS tells security agencies. And of course, beside the nameplate, it says Tinubu orders manhunt as terrorists kill over 40 in Niger. And that's on page 8. Very sad story there. And it says new tax regime. What's true and what's not? And that's on page 18. And the star story on the Punch says NNPC subsidiaries debt balloons 70% to 30 trillion naira. And of course, the writer says only 8 of 32 subsidiaries remain free for intercompany debt. NNPC owes unit 20.5 trillion naira amid assets sale plan. And you can find that read on page 24 of the Punch newspaper. Please go out and get yourself a copy. And we're well abreast with punching issues making rounds. Did you hear that, Mr. E?
Yeah, sure.
Next paper, the Daily Trust.
All right, let's take a look at the Daily Trust for you. Just 4 headlines, but we start with the one to your top right. Says 27 die, 13 missing in Yobe boat mishap. 52, page 52. So you have that very pathetic story. 27 people died and 13 are still missing on account of that boat mishap in
Very
Yobe.
sad.
Yeah, Yobe State is in the northeastern part of our country.
Yes, it is.
Starters, right?
And just to interject, and you'll be surprised that these individuals that died out of negligence or carelessness. Because one, I'm sure there were no life jackets, and two, I'm sure there were no what you call them now. Guys that
the lifeguards.
At least there should be at least one lifeguard to accompany these individuals, to at least help them out of the water. And that is what we keep talking about. And every year, have you noticed that we keep talking about both mishaps
multiple times,
and yet there are no precautionary measures that are taken when it comes to this particular issue. It's a serious problem.
It is.
I think there's something that needs to be done on our sea waves. It's very important that people understand that you can some individuals can die from this. You need life jackets to keep you afloat, even if you cannot swim. And of course, these lifeguards. How many lifeguards do we have in Nigeria? We only have lifeguards when it comes to the swimming pool area. On the beach, we don't have lifeguards. On places like this, we don't have lifeguards. Places where their transit has to do with water, there are no lifeguards. It's just unfortunate. It's just very sad that people just die out of negligence. It's really sad.
It's heart-wrenching, really.
Yes, it is.
Lagos has set a very sterling example in this regard, with regards to, of course, Lagos has had perhaps more than its own fair share, all right, of these sort of mishaps.
Of course.
But it has, in the last 7 to 10 years, done a lot to raise up the ante, as they say, in that regard. Waterway safety. Incidentally, in Nigeria, we have the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA. I may not have a full handle on what their mandate is, but I understand that part of their remit is to ensure that there's safety rights on our waterways, right? We have to do that. Then you're asking yourself, can we not bring the same energy into the waterways safety as we do with energy, as we do with petroleum industry, all right? Is it because that one is all about the money? All right, this is about life. It is about life and death. If people must use water as a means of transport, use the sea as a means of transport. Incidentally, Nigeria is blessed with so much body of water. Can we not go all out in terms of regulation?
Exactly.
What are we going to be hearing from NIWA now? I'm not so sure. Will NIWA even put out a statement?
Of course not. So how many have they come out with?
There's a lot of concern around this area. And then you're asking yourself, those who are using the waterways, those who are operators, right, on the waterways, what training do they have? What certification do they have? In the case of pilots, for example, you have to be trained rigorously. You have to be retrained again and again.
Exactly.
You have to be recertified. Assessment after assessment after assessment.
Over and over.
Do we do even a quarter of that
No.
with the people who operate on our waters?
No, we do not. And I think accountability is very important. Is that because there are no accountability, people feel they can get away with these things that happen. After all, it's not from my own terrain. It doesn't concern me. There are no NIWA authority individuals there. It's accountability is key. It's very important. I think we don't take that into. We don't really put an eye on it, and that's why a lot of things that are swept under the carpet, and it's just unfortunate. These are lives here. That's a lot, seriously, and I feel out of negligence and carelessness. It's not like it was you could not avert it. Yes, you can. If the needful was done, 40 is a lot of number.
It is.
And it's just one boat. Seriously.
In this case, they're talking 27.
Okay, 27. Yes, exactly.
40 is with regards to the issue in the United States.
Yes, exactly. Oh, yes.
But even at 27, I mean, that
is a lot.
It's alarming.
It's alarming. And the needful needs to be done. And people need to take accountability. And because we do not take accountability, people feel they can just get away with it. Oh, let it slide. It's fine. It's just 27. 27, it's a huge number. One is it's big, really, and really the needful needs to be done.
All right, so let's look at a few more for you here. It says bandits, how bandits killed 60 in Nigeria. Well, the reports are a bit divergent. Yesterday we were told 30, maybe the toll increased a little overnight. We heard 40. But Daily Trust is reporting 60 in inverted commas, so you have to pay attention to that. All right, ADC tickets will be Kwankwaso to battle Atiku. Will it be free and fair, or will it be the deeper your pockets, the higher your chances?
I will know if it's deeper your pocket. We know who carries that particular title.
Well, the ADC has a lot of work to do to show example, to convince Nigerians that it is different from the APC, the PDP, and the other parties.
Exactly.
And it's a tall order.
It's a tall order. And of course, the ADC has a lot of work to do when it comes to unity in that party, because these are really strong men who have different mindset, different perspective. And no one wants to stand down for anyone. Everyone wants to be president. So let's just see how well they come together, unite, and find a way around it. Like I said, showing that example that, hey, this is not business as usual. It's not what you can predict with the People Democratic Party, with what is going on right now. PDP, we do not know, is there still PDP now? Question mark.
We'll find out in the weeks ahead.
Exactly. So ADC really has a lot of role to play when it comes to trying to convince us as Nigerians, we are easily convinced and all of that. Whatever you do, we believe you. But at the same time,
just talk long and hard enough.
But at the same time, the ADC has a lot to play, because now many Nigerians are now, will I say, woke. We now know that, okay, fine, you have to give it your best, or else you will not get my vote. My vote counts as a Nigerian. So it's not business as usual. Well, you can vote, you can buy my vote easily. Now this is serious. Now we have felt the brunt of what economic hardship is all about. We felt the brunt of how resources can transform and change lives. We have felt the brunt of how I, as an individual, as a Nigerian, I can make an impact for myself once I elect the right leader into power. So it's not business as usual. So they have a lot to play in convincing us why this party should be the ruling party to come 2027.
Well, Juma has set the agenda already. The ADC had better fall in line. All right, last one here. The Star headline says NAS disowns gazetted tax laws. National Assembly disowns gazetted tax laws. Let the battle begin. Those are your headlines from the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Juma will now walk us through headlines from the Daily Sun.
All right, now the Daily Sun newspaper. Now, beside the nameplate of the Daily Sun, it says FG withdraws criminal defamation charge against Natasha. Finally. And that is on page 5. Now, you say Kogi women are very strong. Be careful with me.
I sure will.
On a lighter note, though. And then on page 27 of the Daily Sun, it says Kalu tax Abia North on peace unity. And that's on page 27 of the Daily Sun. Now, below that, it says Sanwo-Olu at Thanksgiving pledges to do more in 2026. And that is on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Now, the Star story says, again, terrorist strike in Niger. Very sad read there. And it's on page 4. And we have 2 riders there. It says, kill 42, burn market, adopt students of Pampiri Missionary School. Others, perpetrators behind bloody Kwansuan Daji attack. Oh, sorry. The second rider says, Tinubu orders hunt of perpetrators behind bloody Kwansuan Daji attack. And it's just unfortunate that you will think that these terrorists, they've decided to stand down from what happened in Sokoto. Did you see the footage? It was gruesome.
Yeah,
it was, did I eat after that? Okay, yeah, I did.
Those are no items you even put on television.
That's not items.
It's quite gory.
It is very gory, and you think that they will learn from it and stand down and try as much as we know it's not something that can just go away within a snap of a finger overnight, but at least we won't hear any attack, just like how it is when there's an attack, when the military goes into their enclaves, there's an attack, there's always these dials of tension, but these individuals are just hidden, and it's just unfortunate. But let's just see, let the needful be done, and to know that we do not want banditry in our society. It just has to go by hook, like line, sinker. It just has to go. Now the next is The Nation, and Uyi, that's over to you.
Incidentally, we have just 2 headlines. I even dare to say one, but just above the nameplate, it says in quotes, success doesn't close the chapter, it turns the page.
Yes, it does.
That's credited to General Olufemi Oloyede, Chief of Defense Staff. Well, you can narrow that down to whatever context works for you. But you can also tie it to current reality as it has to do with insecurity challenge in our country. Then the Star headline, the only one, because quite all the major newspapers today have been taken over by advertorial associated with the Nigerian Revenue Service. All right. Hunt down terrorists, Tinubu orders. And I hope that order or those orders are followed stricto sensu, as they say in Latin. All right. Well, that's how we wrap it up on The Nation newspaper. Let's turn now to the First Daily News.
All right, the First Daily News, and we have a lot when it comes to major headlines making rounds. And beside the nameplate of the First Daily, it says, Gumi claims he was marked for bombing during U.S. airstrike. And you wonder what's going on. What will give you that notion that
last check says Sheikh Gumi lives in Kaduna. I don't know if he moved or changed residence
exactly.
recently. So we understand quite frankly that those tracks were in Sokoto.
So we do not know how
what the correlation is.
Exactly, from Sokoto to Kaduna. But you know, sometimes individuals just want to come out and they just want to come out. Relevance is very important. That, hey, see me even when we are not. And
clouds
see
chasing.
Me. Exactly. So you said that, not me, please. So let's just see. Well, hopefully.
Right.
And then next on the First Daily, below the nameplate, it says, Momodu, I never told anyone to stop supporting Peter Obi. And next it says, Plateau bleeds again as bandits kill 7 in community attack. Very sad there. And the Star story on the First Day says, Tinubu unleashes security agencies after Niger bandit massacre. And below all of that, it says, joining APC won't shield anyone from EFCC probe. That's the party vice chair. And next it says, Ekiti 2026, APC deputy governorship candidate under fire over WAEC. And if you're wondering, that's the West African Examination Council. And then next it says, Rivers APC will follow Wike's direction ahead of 2027. Okay, these are the loyalists coming out and telling you, point blank.
Right.
We are following Wike's direction. You see, he has a very strong hold in River State, very strong. So,
well, it appears Fubara is going all out to challenge that now, even though we see him doing that in a stealth mode.
Yes, he is. But, you know, I don't know if he's advising.
You have a piece of advice for Governor Fubara?
No, please don't put me on the stop. Please stop. Please, I'm just a journalist, just doing my job. But I was thinking, after the apology, he would just stand down and just.
We should stand down, Fubara.
And just allow peace, just please, because Wike is not someone that you want to go back and forth, back and forth, back. It's tiring. It's really, really tiring. You just allow, just put that back of your mind that the people of River State are the focus. Like you have a lot to 6 months you were not in that governorship, you were not there as governor, so you have a lot. There are lots of lapses, whether you think they're not, but they are there. There are lots of things you would have. Your energy focus should be on that. This back and forth also is so tiring. Like I'm not even there, but I just want to imagine how tiring it is. And I'm sure most Nigerians are tired of it. Some will just tell you, I know where this is going to. There are lots of pressing issues that we're facing, not this. We keep going back and forth with this. We all know the outcome at the end of the day. It's just like when you're It's just like jollof rice. You know how it's going to turn out when you start. We all know this. Right. So I think this tussle back and forth is really tiring. I think we should put our energy on something else. And the loyalists, they've come out to tell you. Their directives is what Wike says that stands in River State. He might not be the governor. He's the FCT minister, for crying out loud. But he has a strong hold when it comes to the things and people of River State. Right. All right, still on the paper now. And it says here, ECOWAS warns against breach of Venezuela's sovereignty. And below that, it says FG drops criminal charge against Senator Natasha. And of course, these are the major headlines on the First Daily. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making rounds. Next paper, over to you, Mr. Agbomofuegbe. Thank you.
Let's take a look at the Daily Independent for you now. First off, at the top of it, top left precisely, NGX delivers best returns, outpaces African peers despite policy shocks. Sounds like a good footing to a new year. Niger attacks, Tinubu orders manhunt as bandits kill 50, abduct several. Nigeria's hurdle is converting hot money to real growth. Experts, how do we address that? Well, read up details on page 29 of today's issue of the Daily Independent newspaper. We have a number of headlines on the left corner of the front page. 25 dead, 14 missing as boat capsizes in Yobe. Sarap asks Tinubu to probe missing 128 billion naira in power ministry and bet. Alleged defamation, federal government withdraws suits against Natasha. That story is quite syndicated this morning. NDLEA intercepts illicit drugs in coffee sachets, detains 22 Indians over cocaine shipments. You see, I mean, you and I also mentioned
chocolates to coffee now.
Several methods, just to conceal controlled substances.
For as much as I'm not happy that for as much as I'm happy that it's not chocolate again. You know what happened? The Indian woman that concealed drugs in chocolates. I was, for as much as today it's coffee, it's a mixed feeling. I'm happy it's not chocolate, and at the same time I'm not happy that these individuals who are foreigners are bringing in this substance into Nigeria. And you know what that is. Substance is a menace in our country because most youths indulge in substance abuse, and most youths are carried away by this. And when we see attacks, for us, these terrorists, they do not go with their plain eye. They are under the influence of drugs and substance abuse. For as much as it hurts me so much that foreigners will have the effrontery to come into our country, Nigeria, with this sort of guise when it comes to coffee, where you know that a lot of people like coffee, and you think it's something a wool you can just sweep over our eyes and will not see. It shows that the NDLEA, they're doing a lot when it comes to this particular issue. And thank God, by the way, thank God. It might not be so much. Of course, there's so many drugs and substances everywhere. But at least this is a step in the right direction, and hopefully this menace will be curbed once and for all.
So then, nobody's telling me why they had to choose coffee to do
I
this.
know you like
No,
coffee.
but it's all right.
At least it's not chocolate today.
I'll get over this.
You get over it. You see, that's how I felt when I heard chocolate. I was so angry with the Indian woman. Why chocolate? Why
But you see,
chocolate?
I'm also concerned, Juma, when you look at the fact that the NDLEA appears to be a step at least ahead of.
Oh, yes.
So just because you can tell that these are things they had gotten away with in the past.
Oh, yes.
But today it's no longer business
It's
as usual.
not business as usual. Of course, we know that the chairman, of course, Buba Mara retired, Brigadier General Buba Mara retired. He's done an amazing job. You see, that's the
Right.
thing about
Leadership.
And of course, he has been in the system of giving orders, investigating, knowing what's is putting individuals
Right.
on ground to actually to give feedbacks. You see, that's the thing. Feedbacks, very important. Taking that responsibility, taking it to the tail end. Once you're given a mandate, please. That's the thing. Like I always tell people, even if you're in the seat of power and you're doing the right thing, no one will ask you questions. Eat all the money you can, but as long as you and I, we have what we want and and if people actually come for you, a lot of people will say, hey, what are you doing? Stop it. A lot of people will fight on your behalf. So do the right thing. It's very, very important.
Right. Okay, let's go wrap it up, everyone. Last one here on the foot of the front page. It says Venezuelans remain shell-shocked after US captured Maduro. Those
Really?
details are on page 6. Are they really shell-shocked?
Are they
No?
really? Really? I had to say, shell shocked. Really? You guys were jubilating.
Right.
You guys were happy.
Well, there are different kinds of shock.
Of
You
course,
might.
but-
Imagine you step off this show later this morning and you have a 2025 edition of a particular car waiting for you.
Oh my
free,
goodness.
like a gift for you.
Yeah.
All right. There's that shock you get.
But that's
it's different from
different.
the shock the other guy who lost his job will get.
Yes, exactly. But at the same time, there's always a hunch. There's always a hunch. Like there's always, like they say, there's in every rumor there's an atom of truth in
Right.
it. You definitely get that.
But you
wave of-
expect the scale to be what it turned out to be. That's the
maybe,
thing.
but they knew that. Hey,
Something wasn't right.
Something wasn't right, and of course, when the U.S. come into play, you know, there's always something unique and different. It's always they do it.
Action and outcome.
Action and outcome. Even if of course, we know that years back. I just don't want to go into that. The U.S. have been here before, and you know
Right.
what they did. Went to rescue. We heard about the rescue that took place that nobody dared to talk about, but there was a rescue.
Yeah.
So we know that when U.S. comes into play, there's always action, and results.
Yeah. Well, let's go get some more results for you. But this time, we're just saying, I read up those details from the Daily Independent today as we move to our last paper now, the Blueprint newspaper.
All right, now the Blueprint newspaper. And above the nameplate, it says, canoe convene 52 passengers capsizes in Yobe. 25 die, 14 missing. And that's on page 8. Very sad read there. Like we spoke about it before. Of course, you see the needful should be done when it
Right.
comes to this mishap that is ongoing. Now, below the nameplate, it says, Tinubu orders manhunt as terrorists kill 42, adopts scores in Niger. And that's on page 8. And the rider reads, Bago urges calm, airstrikes kill 23 fleeing bandits in Kano. Okay. I hope they are bandits and not civilians, please. And on page 8 on the blueprint, it says poor Nigerians will benefit from the new tax regime. And that's from Adedeji. And that's on page 8. And that's all the major stories making rounds on the Blueprint newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well abreast with issues making rounds on all the major headlines on all the papers. Remember, Global Television has no input whatsoever in any editorial judgment on these papers that we have read out to you. Read it out as it is. Stay glued to your television set. Up next is Social Buzz.
Yes,
Social Buzz.
with Godchukwu Mobuno.
Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned.
is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
Well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Good morning and welcome to Social Buzz here on Global Morning. I am Ogojiko Mobuno, or should I say Happy New Year. This is the first time we're meeting, in the new year since 2026 began. So I must say Happy New Year to all our viewers. And good morning, Jumai Manson. How are you doing, Jumai?
Happy New Year, Ogojiko. It's great to have you on Global Morning, and I'm excited. You look beautiful, by the way. I like the hairdo.
Okay.
Are you sure we'll do the same thing next
week? We're doing something different for the new year.
2026. Something new, something beautiful. Bringing the old and making it a new. It's a step in the right direction.
That's it.
Happy New Year.
New Year, new me.
New Year. I like that.
All right, so let's jump into the topic for today. The Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro, flashes a peace sign after arriving in the U.S. The Venezuelan's ousted leader, Nicolas Maduro, was seen flashing a peace sign and smirking at officers as he arrived in U.S. federal custody in New York following his dramatic arrest. Maduro was transferred to Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center after being flown into the United States earlier on Saturday. The facility is one of the country's most high-profile federal jails and has previously housed inmates including Sean Diddy Combs and Maxwell. Footage circulating online shows the former president throwing up a peace sign and giving a thumbs up while handcuffed as he was escorted by law enforcement during a prep walk at the Drug Enforcement Administration office in Manhattan. Maduro was also filmed wishing officers a happy new year and he spoke in English and then switched to Spanish asking, "Es buenas noches," no, meaning that's good night. All right, that's from the president there of Venezuela. And a lot of people have been saying so many things. We're just going to be taking comments concerning this. But shortly before we take comments, because, some of these comments, they're really very, I don't know how to begin this comment. But, okay, let's just pick some of these comments maybe before we go into discuss. And this one is from Pado Machuku. And Pado says, but thought the president has security details. How then were they subdued? How did they subdue the security officers in charge, the people who were supposed to be guiding this man? The next one is coming from Kings for Real, and King says, different players, different target, but one single objective, oil. Once you have abundance of oil, you are a potential threat to the United States of oil barons. Okay, the last comment is coming from Vibes with Duni, and Vibes says, Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts and was not arrested, but he has the nerves to go invade another country and capture their president without having international authority to do so. This world is upside down. All right, so many persons just feel like Trump is actually out of the way. One more, like, why are you doing this to people? Some persons feel like it's okay for them to do that because, according to the allegation that he is in support of, drug being pushed down to United States of America, and Trump is the president. We know Trump as a no-nonsense. He says it and he does it. He doesn't allow things like that. He'll tell you, we don't want America to, we don't want anyone destroying America. So be your president, be your citizen of any country, and he sees any trace that you are not in support of the good things that's happening in America, he's picking you up immediately. And some persons are still wondering, how did he do that? So my concern is the peace sign, that the Venezuelan President Maduro was sending to his citizens, letting them know that there's no cause for alarm, I'm fine, I'm good. And we also saw him in one other video where he was smiling, like, this kind of peace you have when you feel like, okay, there's no cause for alarm, nothing's gonna happen to me, I'll be out and I'll be fine. You understand? This has been making rounds on social media, and just like I introduced earlier, I'm not alone. I'm with Jumai Manson. So Jumai, let's talk about the president of Venezuela and his arrest and how he was picked, from his mansion without anyone, not even his security agent, nobody knew about him being arrested with his wife.
Well, it's just an unfortunate incident there, but of course you can see the jubilation when it comes to the Venezuelans. They are happy that for them this is long overdue. He has been in power for way too long, and quote and unquote, he's like a threat when it comes to drugs and substance abuse. He's tagged a drug lord. So I'm sure there must have been a hunch, but I'm sure individuals were happy that it happened, and it's just unfortunate that he was actually betrayed by his security guards.
That's exactly what I wanted to say, because you cannot just pick up a president with all the security operatives he has around him.
Exactly.
There's somebody inside. There's actually an insider. Talking about the Venezuelan citizens celebrating on the streets. We are seeing another faction of people here in Nigeria, and they said they are speaking out for Venezuela president, and they said Trump shouldn't arrest the president. It has no right. What do you have to say about Nigerians doing it? The problem is we don't even get to speak out when it affects us, but when it's affecting people outside, that's where we come outside. Where are these troops coming out from? What are you going to say about this?
Do you know, I was, when you wanted to say that, I said, as Nigeria, let's remove the log from our eyes before we remove the log from another person's eyes. We have other pressing issues, and we know the speculations going around about Trump coming over to Nigeria and doing, the intervention and all of that. But at the same time, superpowers, they can do and undo when it comes to issues like this, especially when there are other countries who they are more superior than. And at the same time, I think Nigerians should let's mind our business, please. Concentrate on what is paining us. Now, at this point, you can see what happened in Niger after the airstrike that happened in Sokoto, and then these terrorists are still out again and killed over 14 individuals. That is a lot. So please, is it 14 or 40 now? Sorry, that happened in Niger. So let's just in school, in the Pigeon Palace, I beg, make we face our front.
That's just it. As simple as that. Thank you so much, Jumai Manson, for your contribution to this topic here on Social Buzz on Global Morning. We wish we had more time, would have actually extended this. But do not worry, you join me again by 11:30 on Social Buzz Extra. I'll be bringing you the extra in all of those gists. All right, from me, I'm saying goodbye, and please stay with us as Global Morning continues. Bye.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This
On the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Let's turn to an issue that comes closer to home for most Nigerians, whether you are the woman selling inside an open market, the young man running the shop by the roadside, or someone who does or operates a medium-sized business. Citizens have been concerned about the new tax laws. For many, not so much of clarity has been provided. For others, it is a question of, well, more money being taken out of their bank accounts on account of what they regard as increased taxation. Plus, we have seen legislators raise concerns around discrepancies between the laws that they had passed and what has now been gazetted and in its fifth day of implementation. President Tinubu has been very unequivocal, saying that he would go ahead with implementing these new tax laws, especially as he believes that they serve the interests of Nigerians. Yet we have seen those who say that it would have been wise for implementation to have been halted while consultations continue. However, that hasn't been the case just yet. We're joined this morning by tax experts who will help us find sense in this conversation. Haruna Ibrahim, it's a delight to have you on the program.
Thank you so much.
Great.
It's my pleasure.
Juma and I will spend the next couple of minutes talking to you about this issue. But let's begin with what we would have thought is a thing of the past. First of all, you and I were here a few months ago. We talked about this issue when all 19 northern governors came and stated their position on this tax proposition as it then was. But then we realized that they had met with President Tinubu, and those issues appeared to have been resolved altogether, and we thought for once we could move on. But it appears those issues were not fully laid to rest.
Yeah, I don't know the issue that were not fully laid to rest. The issue of tax reform is just an aspect of the total economic plans and reform of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. Tax reform is just an aspect of the Fiscal Reform Committee. Nobody actually is talking about the fiscal reform. Why are we emphasizing on tax? Because we have seen it as a very sensitive tool to blackmail the system, blackmail the government, and blow things out of proportion. Why is everybody, the 19 state governors, you remember even the Borno State governor at the time was very vehement,
right,
standing against this. The Arewa Constitutive Forum, the Northern Elders Forum, all of them came together. And over 1 year, the young man that is heading the Fiscal Reform Committee has been going around the nooks and corners of Nigeria, from TV station to TV station, organizing public hearing, being invited across National Assembly, created by itself public fora for debates, Channels Television, bringing about media debate and question, providing answers to a lot of questions being raised. And these reforms is just, one is the fiscal reform that has to do with the derivative, the equity in our resource sharing to balance up the disequilibrium in resource control activities. Right. Nobody's actually talking about that. And the second aspect was about this tax. The question is Tinubu doing this to benefit himself or the federal government? No. More than 80 to 70% of every gain that is in the new tax reform is going to states and local governments.
But let me ask you a question quickly before you sum that up. Why do so many Nigerians, even some the high-profile individuals, see this tax reform policy as a problem and not a solution?
No, the high-profile people are actually blackmailing the system. Yeah, because the tax regime is progressive. The new tax regime, one of the perquisites of taxation is the ability for tax process to be progressive. Any tax that is not progressive in nature, which means the higher your level of income, the higher the elitist class you attain, the possibility of you paying more tax. The higher your luxury life, the possibility of you paying more tax. While the lower people pay less tax. That is progressive taxation. So naturally, the few, the microscopic few of this elitist class who have been feeding and feasting on Nigeria. The tax system has been imbalanced for years. The poor has been paying more. Before now, we've had more than 60 types of taxes in Nigeria. More than 60. And this reforms committee is harmonizing everything to just 10. So that there will not be duplicity in taxes. You open a poor man open a small kiosk, today local government come, this one come, you have not paid this levy, you've not paid land levy, you've not paid rent, you've not paid signboard, you've not paid this, and the big men, the one paying all this? No, certainly no. You understand? They tell you, you want to go to, you have to travel, transportation this, you have to pay this, you load your goods from the farm, you are taking to the market, somebody come with one ticket or the other, you understand? So call and say produce, and the big men, the one paying this?
No.
And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his wisdom, he said, let's shift. If we must source for money to finance, to drive the economy of Nigeria, to attain the level of the vision he wants, or the Nigeria ought to be, we should shift the burden of tax from the low income earners and place it where it's supposed to be. You understand? And a lot, more than 50 reliefs and exemptions were created across the personal income tax, the VAT, the company income tax, and the other form of taxes like withholding taxes. How is the poor man, how is it now ironically that is this the poor man that is complaining?
Because they do not understand.
Of course, and as much as the committee has tried to make the common man understand that the government is for you, but the few elites who have taken over, they paid a lot of influencers across the mainstream media and social media. They promoted all sorts of falsehood that, oh, once you have money in your account, starting from 1st January, if I may ask you here now, as your account be taxed since 1st of January?
No.
But this was the narrative that were being sold.
It was what we heard President Bola Ahmed Tinubu say.
He never said that.
But that is
Where did he get it from?
That is the speculation.
No, you don't.
That's the thing.
In a setting, in a professional setting.
Yes.
You know, when you guys, there's a responsibility that is expected naturally. You know, it's supposed to be a corporate responsibility as a media outfit.
Of course.
To also begin to drive. Create platform for enlightenment, things like this, like we are doing right now. You understand? Better late than never. You understand? These are things that we're supposed to have been doing, and we, the committee, has spent huge resources, time, energy, over 1 year, sensitizing the entire system on this task. The first time we discussed about this was ending of 2023. Then we talked about it in 2024.
Right.
And this is 2026, we are still talking about it. This is me, in my own personal capacity. One way or the other, we discuss about taxes. All the various approach that the Tinubu administration has given to tax. Starting from the first window it created for those that have evaded taxes. You remember? Some of our...
Like a soft landing.
Exactly. These things are beyond. The issue is when a mind is made up not to hear, not to accept, there's practically nothing you can do about it.
Let me ask you this.
It is the responsibility of the government to keep emphasizing. Because this is a very critical issue. I think you guys should listen. Let's be taking it one after the other. Let's come to the personal income tax. The new personal income tax provision.
Very important.
You understand? If you do comparative analysis, in your pay arrangements, for example, as a worker in this organization, but before now, it was 10%. In the new tax regime, it's about 7%. So between the former one and this new one, which is lower?
This one.
So why are they making you feel you are going to be paying more? That's one aspect. Another aspect, right now, they are creating your annual rent for you. That 20% of your annual rent will be exempted from tax. Because remember, you are using part of your income to pay rent.
Right.
Very true.
And they are not telling you that the government is going to help you pay that. That means you are going to deduct it. You are going to exempt it. They are telling you that if you have national housing, if you are registered on national housing form, if you are on NHIS, if you are on pension, if you are your transportation, those things that are hitherto not deductible before, they are now deductible. They are not exempted for you. They become reliefs. Including your children, at least maximum of 4. I even read some narrative that the gift you receive will be taxed.
Which is false.
Which is false too.
You must put up a description.
Not necessarily a description. This is what we are talking
transfer. That's the speculations everywhere.
Nobody is going to tax your account. What the system is practically saying is everybody should embrace a tax system where you become accountable not to yourself or to your government. How do you raise your personal assessment form? You assess yourself, you submit your form. The tax man will go through that all the provisions. If you don't know how to do that, you get a tax consultant. to tell you that these are your relief, these are your benefits, these are your things that you need to benefit from government. If you are ignorant about it and you deduct it, at the end of the day, remember, your net income is what is being taxed.
Right.
What if your net income is now less than 1.2 million after deducting everything? That means you are totally exempted from tax. That means you are able to pay zero tax.
We thought that threshold was 800,000.
No, it's varying from one. It depends from from 800 to 1.2 million. You understand? They are even totally not taxable. I'm even saying, for example, your income is 2.something, your annual income is 2.something million,
right,
or 3.something million. After all the relief that you have benefited have been deducted, and your net income is now around 1 million or 800, you are still paying zero tax.
So let me take you back a little.
But the people that are driving propaganda will make you feel as if your 3 million income is just going to be taxed. Do you understand my point?
Yes.
They make you feel that once your total income for the year is 3 million, you are just going to be taxed on the 3 million.
Which is not true.
Which is not true.
Let's circle back a little, Aruna.
And meanwhile, the rate at which you are being taxed is also reduced. That is just personal income tax. Now talking about small businesses, because I said progressive tax.
Right.
How can small business compete? There may be small business in one industry. Every industry have the small, the medium, and the big. You understand? For example, now we say modular refineries. How can they compete well in the same industry with Dangote refineries? That's just an example.
Yeah.
You understand? At times we have a big commercial outfit. You have similar outfit, but not as big as. So the government is now saying, if you have XYZ amount of turnover within a year, 25 million is your total turnover as a small business owner, that business is not going to be taxed.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's a relief for you. Activities of your business now being taxed. Maybe some of the products, are they vertible products? Value added tax. What you are selling or the service you are rendering as a small business, are they vertible? Then the government is now saying, for example, you are into agric related item, everything agric is exempted from VAT.
Okay, so I think we should
everything medical, from pharmaceutical to hospital equipment, medicine, anything medical related. Do you know why the government is doing this?
No, please tell us.
Because they want a return. Imagine an hospital experiencing this kind of relief, not paying tax because they are hospital, and they are receiving income from people they treat. The pharmaceutical companies are producing medicines, and they are being exempted from all sorts of taxes, like VAT and co. You understand? The government now expects in return to boost the economy. For the common man to benefit, the pharmaceutical companies should now reduce the prices of their products. Hospital charges should now reduce. Food prices should now come down. You are not paying transportation taxes. You are not paying VAT on agric-related plus food, not just the agric. That's why I use the word agric-related. Both processed food, bottled waters. We have Seaway in Abuja, for example. You know, that's a company that runs on billions of turnover. Right now, they're not going to be paying VAT. Okay, it's not expected in return to give back to the society. The government now expects them to reduce their prices. I don't know. The money they're supposed to have paid.
I don't know. We have substantial time to talk about these issues, but I want to bring some. First of all,
I've not gone to the company, the new company.
We are going to come to that.
The company income tax.
Yes.
The government again. Before now, company income tax, your accessible profit or chargeable profit. We have the chargeable profit, accessible profit, and after every deduction, you now have the one you have to charge 30%. To get the company income tax. And the government is now reducing the 30% to 25%. Imagine as a company, you want to pay a tax of 1 billion or 500 million. 5% of 500 million is how much?
Okay, we'll do the math.
50 million is off.
Yes, but one thing is clear now, Aruna, one thing is clear. The government, amongst other things, wants to bring equity to taxation.
Exactly.
Which is very fair, which is very human. But I want us to cycle back for a second, right?
All right.
There are people who say that there will be nothing essentially wrong with these new tax laws, but they have a concern that not much of awareness, not much of consultation had been done prior to implementation.
No, Uyi, let me explain something to you. There is no reform that has ever, world over, there is no president in the world, there is no leader in the world that has driven a reform that was applauded to have met the yearnings and aspiration or the applause or the approval of the populace when it is at a Brownic stage until when it's being implemented. On May 23, I left this studio straight to Eagle Square during the swearing in of the new government. You remember what we discussed?
Right.
When immediately, did he consult anybody? Was there a wide consultation? We floated the Naira on that day because we removed subsidy. Not because that was the best decision, but that was the most necessitated decision based on the economic quagmire we were in. We were at an economic cliffhanger where we already have about 30 trillion ways and means. How do you buffer such economy without driving reforms like this? Ways and means are printed 32 trillion. Fueling inflation. At the time, inflation was almost 32%. Right now, we are at 14%. You see the effect of reform. Me and you, at that time, a bag of rice was selling for 120,000 naira, 105,000 naira. We will come to this studio to analyze, and I keep telling you that the impact of the reform will gradually be coming. If he had waited a little, and if he had even waited till July, because it was sworn in May 29, we would have gone bankrupt. Because we already having less than 20 billion in our reserve. Today we are having 40-something billion. I remember you used to talk about savings from subsidy removal. Now we are clearing our debt with IMF. At that time, our debt ratio to revenue was 97%. What it means is we were using 97% of our annual revenue or monthly revenue to service debts. Not even paying, no, servicing. At a point, remember when me and you discussed about the Afrinezi Bank,
the Afrexim Bank
arrangement with NNPC.
Yes.
We were supplying our crude in advance to get money to spend today. We were already using the money for the future of our children to sustain today.
Let me ask a question.
You understand? So reforms are not always welcomed by the people because of the speculative drive of those that oppose them. In this case, most of the persons, because this VAT that we're talking about now, they know luxury lifestyle and everything will be taxed. Which the common man is not enjoying. The only way they want their voice to be heard is to begin to blackmail the government and using the gullible common man does not know all this and say that this is for you.
Now, talking about the common man now.
We're talking of a 70% population that is poor.
Mr. Braimo.
I think Juma wants to ask a question.
No, I'm talking about the common man now. You know, we heard about, let's take a back now. When Dangote refinery came up and went to all MRS stations and started selling fuel at 700 plus naira and to benefit the common man, like we've said. Now, for most Nigerians, they will say to you that this tax reform that we're talking about, for as much as, quote and unquote, is supposed to favor the common man when it comes to transportation, when it comes to food, when it comes to all of this reduction of tax, isn't it just going to be the same old, same old? We keep going back and forth. I'm not done.
All right.
We keep talking about this particular tax reform that will come into play, the deduction, but at the same time, there is no one will take responsibility when cost of transport is still the same, cost of food is still the same, cost of every other thing that it wants to be positive to the common man will just remain the same. We'll just be there paying tax and nothing will be done.
All right. Thank you very much. First of all, let me make some correction. You cannot say the cost of food has remained the same. I just pointed out now. If you want to, not just necessarily rice,
but transport is still the same.
I'm coming.
Okay.
Basic food items. If you look at our year-to-year inflation level, you will see our food inflation has reduced drastically. Food drives sustainability for life itself, which in turn drives productivity.
No, you're not getting
where the government is getting it right, let's give it to the government.
No, I'm not disputing that.
Talk about transportation.
I'm not disputing
I'm coming to that.
No, I want to correct something before you start, Mr. Brian. For as much as we know that food has actually reduced a bit, I'm talking about now.
What is it? More than 50%.
Well, wait a minute, Mr. Brian. I'm saying that once this tax comes into play, it might remain the same. It might not reduce more than because that is the same thing that we keep going to back and forth when it comes to impacting the common man that you mentioned.
There was no act. There was no law that mandated Dangote to say that this is how much you're going to be selling fuel. But there is a law, there's a tax law here. You understand? And it's also a call to responsibility.
Okay, then tell me, what will I say about removal of fuel subsidy?
Removal was totally implementing the liberalization of the oil sector.
Then how did it affect the common man positively?
Because, right now,
because you're talking about...
Excuse me, you will not on the long run, because we have two run effect. We have the short run effect, we have the long run effect.
Okay.
One is driving national development now. In international world right now, our rating on credit, on export, international trade, balance of payments is in the positives. For the first time, our export outside Nigeria is doubling. It's more than our import. That means we are producing more. Our GDP is on constant growth of more than, on 3/4 growth of more than 4%. These are macroeconomics analysis
on paper,
not on paper. Because if
about many
let me tell you how common man
because they will tell you, Mr. Simon, they are not feeling the increase of the impact.
Miss, when Buhari came, okay, Miss Juma is fine. Okay, Juma, when Buhari came to power, to tell you how common man feel. When Buhari came to power in 2015, everything I just mentioned now, from balance of payment, terms of trade, export and import comparison, were all in the negatives. 32 states could not pay salary. That was directly affecting the common man.
In 2015.
In 2015. If you say these things have not reversed, then we're not telling ourselves the truth. Today, can you tell me any states, before Tinubu came, 5 states, including Edo State, Edo State was number 5. We are having...
In terms of what?
Borrowing from central bank to augment recurrent expenditure to pay salaries. Edo State was number 5. Most indebted state to CBN on, there's a particular creation called budget support. Do you understand? Do you know the effort, the macroeconomics effort that are taking place under the APC-led federal government? If you want to tell ourselves the truth, from what we inherited, from what they inherited in 2015. Today, 32 states that could not pay worker salaries, including Kogi, with 32 out of 36. And we had almost 3 recessions back to back in that regime. Today we have scaled all this. And that's a common man who was not being paid, who was being held 7 months, 8 months in the year about 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Is having his salary regular. So states like my state now, they are not paying 13th month without borrowing to pay. So states are not paying their debts. Where have you heard? You've only heard of federal government paying off some debt. You understand? We're not hearing some state like Edo State. Opewolo, Governor Modo Opewolo is paying debts. Foreign debt is clearing for $30 million. Domestic debt is paid at $30 billion naira. It's being given an award of fiscal responsibility. Budget implementation is now being driven for like 82.1%. These are things that have never occurred. You know, the ocean is very big and wide.
Yes, it is.
You understand? The problem is very big and wide. But we have to make concerted efforts. Continue to progress, continue to drive reforms like this that will trickle. Now, the responsibility challenge is now on we, the same common man. Because, as I said, 80% of this tax is not for the benefit of Tinubu or federal government. It's for state and local government. You saw what the federal government is doing. You saw what Tinubu is doing now, implementing the Supreme Court judgment. that federal allocation should go straight to local government.
True.
The question again, implementation. The question again, social contract, good governance questions. The people at the rural area, how would they be able to have access to the implementation process of this allocation that will be coming directly to their local government? So local government in Edo State today, under Governor Modopolo, are already receiving 600 million, 500 million in a month. We keep raising questions on social media at times that how are you implementing this? Where in your local government a fire issue will still break up, a whole local government headquarter, there is no fire service.
Sad.
And you expect, you are waiting for the state governor or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to provide fire service in your local government? A lot of interventionist agencies being sponsored, being financed and funded by the federal government, from UBEC, national health programs, national immunization. These are all federal government interventionists, all for the rural areas to still stratify the economy. And we're not driving reforms that are backed by law. So it's not the responsibility of the citizenry. This is a wake-up call on all the so-called civil society organizations and advocates of good governance.
Okay.
You can't be voice of necessity when you are not voice of reasoning. They need to sit down and now reason. How do we engage going forward? Not by criticizing a law that is beneficial. Just because you want to play politics, you want to be partisan.
I don't know. There are people who have called for a halt to this implementation, just a second, of these laws. Like we mentioned at the top of this show, is already in its 5th day in terms of being implemented. Is that still a possibility? Is there a chance that could be done? Because they are saying, let's halt this implementation and go back to the drawing board. Before you respond to that, let me add a second question.
Okay.
Nigeria recently entered into some sort of partnership with a French entity in terms of our tax system in this country. There are people who have expressed apprehension over that, saying that we are ceding away financial autonomy in some way.
That's right.
Notable bodies, notable Nigerians, and so on and so forth. Help us address those two issues quickly.
All right, first of all, those that are calling for the halt to this tax regime, the new tax regimes, they don't mean well for Nigeria. This is a process that have taken almost the lifespan of this administration. Because a few months ago, the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this committee was set up.
Led by Taiwo Oyedele.
Exactly. Oyedele went around the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, driving sensitization, meeting the necessary all stakeholders. Where were this group? This is not just the creation of Oyedele. Oyedele is just the head of the committee. Almost every stakeholder in Nigeria was carried along or submitted memorandum to that committee that created these laws. You think laws is just, nobody sit down to just say this is how I want this to be and it becomes. It's a multiplicit society. Every stakeholder was carried along. The laws are meant to be reforms. That's why they call it reform. That means there was a form before. I just told you, the last time we had a form of law was about 1967. 1967. We are carrying outdated and archaic antediluvian tax laws, creating burdens for the common man. Common man is paying all sorts of taxes, both spiritual and physical. The ones you know, visible and invisible.
So government collects spiritual.
No, you don't even know the people that collect them. Do you know them? Your trailer may just go on the road, somebody just enter road with a stick. Produce. You see them all around. People around you in this city, this Abuja, you've not paid for your signboard, signage, grant this, that, kiosk this, kiosk that.
Pollution.
Exactly, pollution. These are all sort of. And year in, year out, every government keep coming up with new taxes. They can just sit down and at state level, at local government, and say this is the new order from the local government chairman, is the new order from the state governor. And people arbitrage with all sorts of taxes. And for the first time, somebody said, let's bring sanity to the system. Because actually, what is the gain of this? We've talked about the benefit to the common man. What is the gain to the government? The government is trying to open up the tax brackets. When everybody is now responsibly filing his personal income tax, we now have plenty people in the brackets. Do you understand? If now 1 naira you dey get, people plenty. it better pass the one you dey get where they were not much. This new
so it's about volume.
It's about bringing about a lot of persons into the tax
broadening the tax net.
Because we are among the lowest
in the world.
Yeah, and in Africa, we don't pay taxes.
But you have not talked about how this affects the informal sector, Aruna.
Exactly, I was going to mention that.
Because before now,
I just talked about this SME. Most of this SME are the nano group.
Most of which are not registered.
That's what I'm saying. The nano group, they are not registered with CAC.
So does this tax law cover that aspect of the paperwork for registration? Look at the POS people,
when you now, for example, you have to look at your own business.
Right.
You understand? So there's going to be partnership. There is already existing partnership with the CAC.
Okay.
CAC is saying we will register you for free. Depending on the category.
To incentivize the process.
If your business is not up to annual, you estimate that your business is not doing a 25 million turnover. Even if you register as a limited liability company, it has its benefits. You register as an enterprise or a joint venture, you have your benefit. The law remains the same, that where your turnover is not up to this, you will not be taxed. And even there are the ones that are even the unbanked. More than 60% of Nigeria does not have bank accounts. And as I'm talking, 2% of Nigeria have less than 500,000 in their account. Those people making noise that your account will be taxed, are you going to tax nothing? So what is the worry about? And there's no law that empower the tax man to go get to go hack or to leak into your account and begin to use the volume of money that is your account to tax you. I just explained to you now. You declare your income. Inside my 5 million business, what is my salary as MD? My 5 million turnover. My salary is 100,000 naira in a month. And even if you are even a company, look at the beauty of it. The government is also creating tax credit for you for driving more employment of people. There's a threshold of numbers of employees you get. That government still create employee incentives.
Can we jump right next to the second?
The other one you were talking about, the France. These are some of these allegations are mostly unfounded in details. Surface-wise, it's not out of place for any organization internationally to work with Nigerian organization or any other country. It's like NNPC working with having a working management working arrangement with Petro Brazil. You understand? Or the China Petroleum Corporation or the Russian Petroleum Corporation. Are we now saying that we are ceding our authority to them? No. Some even we exchange knowledge. Some also come here to learn.
But if, I mean, just...
Wait now.
Yes.
With the question we'll be asking those who are promoting this, what is the detail of this arrangement? Are we saying we are not handing over the tax database to the France organization?
So what exactly are they going to help us
with? A working relationship on how best
to collect taxes?
Management of tax. Remember, this tax issue we are talking about cut across 4 phases. One is, first of all, the national revenue, the NRO, National Revenue Service,
which has now been all the way from federal inland revenue service.
One talk about its administration. How do you administer the tax system? Where there is I don't want to use the word court, a platform created,
like a tribunal, more or less,
for the taxpayer to come and report if he has issue. If you feel is being overtaxed or is not being treated well, whatever, where the government also say they are going to be providing you with free justice pro bono, tax experts, tax lawyers, and whatever, to give you soft landing. One, we talk about formerly you say joint tax board.
Right. That has now been scrapped.
Yes, replaced with another. So these are 4 aspects of this. All these 3 or 4, they are the holistic system that need total management. So if you are going into working relationship, or if you are learning from another country's tax administration system to make your own more efficient, doesn't mean you are handing over your database to the people. But World Bank and IMF agents come to this country. They work with us. They will give us template upon which we should work with the loan or money or whatever they are providing for us. We just, Nigerians, we love building narratives around, especially this era of social media monetization, where most of the platform, Facebook, Twitter, and what have you, everybody is just funny followership, viewership, just to cash out, to make money from the platform. Whether you are saying the right thing, you see somebody now deliberately putting out a false narrative and driving it. You see more than 10,000 views, 10,000 retweets. But when the truth comes out, the person will not even have the responsibility to go and delete or denounce it. Even when the person is being called out that this is what you have said, this is the true picture that has been out. I think there should be a social media law. There should be. Because the level social media platform, of course.
But Mr. Primo, you will agree with me when someone says, once there's a rumor, there's an atom of truth.
What is the atom? You weigh your atom of truth. An atom is the smallest particle of an element.
True. But at the same time...
So if an atom of truth is where you are relying on to drive destructive narrative, does that make sense? Why don't you just remove the atom of truth? Leave the rumor. Get your atom of truth, build your narrative on the atom of truth. But when you are spreading the rumor, you want every other person. How many people will have time to look into that rumor to pick out the atom of truth?
But it baffles me, Mr. Brimo.
I just told you now, between what I've explained to you on the France-Nigeria relationship.
But why France though? Why France?
No, excuse me.
Why?
Okay, why if it was America?
Because the truth is there.
Why not Jume? Why not France?
I'm just wondering. Do you really have a bilateral relationship with France?
You don't have France. Are you saying you don't have a bilateral relationship with France?
We do, but what must have informed that choice?
If we have gone to British, if we are they are our
understandable.
No, understandable, because that is a country where more than 65% to 70% of the income earners, income of the population are being taxed. You will cry to high heaven. The highest person that will pay tax in Nigeria by law, not to Tinubu, to the state of where the residents or where they are doing whatever they are doing.
Okay, so explain to us.
All right now.
Yes.
Okay, so explain to us.
That is progressively, because some will pay 5%, because depending on where your income is vested,
and a few other factors.
Exactly. So, but in the Great Britain, that you said you would have preferred us to work with.
But okay, why France?
More than 65 to 70%.
Okay,
that's why I just told you. Why not France? If there is a reason why you feel that the federal government would have gone into any form of discussion, arrangement, or working relationship, you understand?
Is it that your tax system there's a balance? And that's why I'm asking. What must I inform that?
Definitely.
Okay, in what way?
Especially in the personal income tax arrangement.
Okay.
You cannot compare most people most of our diaspora rush to France for residency while they are working in other European countries.
Right.
Because the residency rule says you pay tax when you are residents.
Well, on that note, I think your point is valid, because we'll see one or two large corporations in the US move their businesses to France, to Paris in particular, and all of that. But let's now talk about all of this hula baloo that we hear over this tax issue. It looks like, just before we take a break now, it looks like there's going to be a litany of litigations coming up, because we're seeing both the political side, we're seeing the non-partisan entities railing against these tax laws and its implementation. How do we deal with this? Will it not make an already complicated issue look worse?
No, right now, the law, the act has become a law. It's gazetted. There is no complicated issue. If there is anything, because right now, if you are suing, you are not suing Tinubu. This is a national law now. You are suing the federal government, 36 state governors, and several others for local government.
Maybe the National Assembly, sir.
No, maybe. And you are, by extension, you are suing several others for legislative houses in the local level, and you are suing 36 House of Assembly. You understand? Because this law now is being domesticated across states. Kogi State have welcomed it. I've accepted them.
That they say it even aligns with their own direction.
They have domesticated it. So who are you suing? If you are residing in Lagos State, go and sue Lagos State government. if you are on personal income tax level. If it's a company income tax, through federal government. And then it will be interpreted. That will be a plan. We have the judiciary as an arm of government.
To interpret.
As an organ of government.
To interpret it.
To interpret it. And when interpretation is given, if there's anywhere, I told you, every law, every reform is subject to amendment.
Right.
But we cannot keep. That was how we kept petroleum industry PIB for more than 20-something years. PIA. In the name of this stakeholder is against it. EK Clark is shouting from Niger Delta. The Northern people said if this is implemented to affect the revenue arrangement, the this, the that. But today, Buhari made it happen. May so rest in peace.
Let's take a quick break now, Haruna. When we come back, I'm sure Juma has quite a number of questions to ask. We'll look at that, and then we'll move ahead to look at other aspects of this tax laws as they affect the everyday Nigerian, and of course, businesses of all sizes in our country. Do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning. All right, you're welcome back, and hope you've been having an amazing time with us here on Global Morning, and still talking about tax law and of course the implications and all of that, allegations, speculations. And we're not doing this alone. We have Mr. Brimo here in the studio with us. Thank you so much for joining us on the program Global Morning, and giving your wheels of knowledge surrounding tax has been amazing. I'm sure a lot of individuals out there have learned a lot when it comes to these tax and of course the allegations of discrepancies of trail implementation. Thank you so much for being a part of the program again. Now let's look at something now on the headlines today. We read some headlines and we came across the National Assembly that says it disowns gazetted tax laws. And before that, we heard that the gazetted laws are in circulations. Now, disowning this gazetted tax laws, what's your take on that, basically? Are we still going back and forth on this matter, or it's not properly formed?
Let me explain something to you.
Okay,
you just said gazetted laws that are in circulation. You understand? Tax laws. That means you are alleging or you are insinuating that there's more than one. Before now, we had only one, and we're having another or some others that were being speculatively spread across the media. That, oh, this is this. The only one we know is the one that is the original one that was anchored and handled and produced by the Fiscal Reform Committee. That is the only one we know. Any other one that is whoever is relying on anyone that is not gazetted, they are on their own. Secondly, let's come back to what you said. You heard on the news that they disown. You understand? You should have gone into detail. Most times headline mislead. Is it an aspect of the gazetted laws that they are disowning? But like I said, whichever way, when everybody agreed, whether you want the new tax law to be paused, whether you want it implemented now, whether later, but there is almost 70 to 80% consensus that we need a new tax reform that will reduce Nigeria tax burden from 60 different unscrupulous taxes to just 10. We need tax harmonization. That cannot be taken away. So whatever stand anybody is taking now is secondary to the fact that the tax reform has taken place and every other thing will fall in place.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all about, these are political statements and they will all be politically sorted out to drive the machinery of government. This reform is a machinery of government. It's very key. It's beyond the interest of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's beyond the interest of Senate President or any state governor. Because, yes, their office is term bound, 4 years or maximum of 8 years.
Right.
But these are reform. I just told you that the last tax laws we had, because we're having individual tax laws, we have personal income tax out of 2015. There was no harmonized tax system over so many years. We have petroleum PPT, petroleum profit tax, company income tax act, and all those. All these pioneer laws. This large, but we now have a unified tax system that is harmonizing everybody together and creating room for larger benefits, even outside. A reformer actually leave the system. The benefit of the praises that go to a reformer does not come when it's in power.
It's after they leave power.
Of course, most of the time, because reforms take time to manifest. You understand? This crude oil, this fuel prices we are talking about today, at the time when it came was 1,000 something, 1,150. Today we are talking of 700 and something, 800 and something and co.
So there's a chance the price could plummet further.
Remember, the demand for fuel is a derived demand.
Right.
If you look at the economic analysis of petroleum, it's a derived demand in the sense that you don't just wake up to say, I want to go and buy fuel. You derive something else to derive fuel.
Yeah.
Except you buy a generator or you buy a vehicle. Except you find needs, that's where you get it.
Yeah.
So the elasticity of demand and supply is almost inelastic in nature. It does not respond speedily to the changes in prices. That's why you don't really see fluctuation going down. There are demands that are inelastic in nature. The elasticity.
Okay, so I want us to talk about, I think you might have a question.
Yeah, I have a question. Now, for individuals who, with this new tax law, it's not everyone that is in support of it. We've read it in the headlines and all of that. For sectors, let's look at aviation sector. Now, I'm not saying, but like I said, you said headlines could be misleading. But for individuals that decide that they want to invade tax or cut corners, let's say rise in fare when it comes to traveling on air and then compromising safety and all of that. What would be, what's your take on that for those who want
on what basis are they going to compromise safety in the first place?
But that is what aviation...
That is inversely related with the issue of tax. First of all, what we expect from them with the VAT system, the beauty of the VAT system is even creating VAT credit for the first time in the history of Nigeria. They're having VAT credits. You can claim VAT from government instead of paying VAT to government. So when, for example, an aviation setup, I said this is all the items I bought this period to drive my aviation industry or my airline business, and you calculate VAT on them that are VATable. You calculate VAT on them. As much as you are remitting VAT, and to remit VAT, you must be registered with the National Revenue Service. You must be VAT compliant. You must get registration because that is when Nigerians will be shortchanged. You want to go and buy television, and these are all VATable. Right. All those electronics and luxury things. You already pay VAT, and the person charging you.
Are they remittance?
You understand? You should ask. Are you registered to remit? Because they collect and they will not remit.
And you're supposed to have an ID for your VAT as well.
Because there's VAT registration. Display it in your office. The same thing with the aviation, whatever. The VAT credit you are collecting, the VAT you are charging me in my airfare, are you registered to collect? Are you remitting it? If it does not have the registration, it's not registered VAT collector, you should not pay it.
Okay.
So gradually, the implementation is going to go, in the beginning, people may be resistant. They will not naturally want to reduce their cost of, their prices of items.
Very true.
But you get to a point, that's why we're talking of demand and supply.
Right.
When there is no much, when there was Tinubu is an economic surgeon, because there is something he did about the rice revolution. Buhari built a rice revolution thinking that Nigerians are normal business people. They will use their mind. He created a 500 billion anchor borrower scheme for local rice production so that we drive sustainability. We can be eating our rice here, producing what we eat. Because we didn't have even the foreign reserve to import this rice. What did they do? Most of the people that collected this money never paid back. And the ones that were produced, the local farmers were cutting us. Nigerian rice become more costlier
than foreign.
True.
Then Tinubu rejig the system. When the prices of the foreign is now less, they are forced to now sell their rice at the same price with foreign rice. But in the time of Tinubu, in the time of Buhari, it was high. We were almost like, open border for us. So these are Nigerians punishing Nigerians. So the same thing is going to happen. You don't expect all of them. They may not even tell you they are benefiting. They may even lie. And the new tax, when they eat us, you know go pay. Meanwhile, they are benefiting. Meanwhile, we are not paying anything education. The man that is owning a private school ought to reduce the school fees. Because it's being exempted from taxes.
But will he now?
That's what I'm saying. That I think the government across the 3 tiers, especially at the state level, where these private schools, because they are mostly SMEs and registered. Most of these private schools are not registered companies. They are enterprise or whatever. At that level, I think the governors and the local government should begin to create policies and committees to check the implementation.
Monitoring the committee. Very important.
I'm even surprised if I tell you that in the last 10 years, since 2015 to date, we have Nigeria plus international support have subsidized the pharmaceutical industry with more than $20 billion. As the price of medicine reduced,
no, it hasn't.
We have the list of the companies that are beneficiaries. Some of them, if we measure it here now, it will be as if they are Nigerians.
And that is why I came.
The exhaust of this world.
Mr. Brahimo, and that is why I said for all of these things that are put in place, the common man doesn't really feel the impact because there are no monitoring committee.
The longer impact is government must rearrange the economic direction of Nigeria from pure liberalization. Liberalism is expecting a citizen to use his mind to reduce prices. The way you buy now, you will sell.
That's free market.
Free market economy. This free market economy cannot work with people that are inherently and desperately wicked, like our people. I'm just being frank.
Just to add to that, we understand that we can also blame part of that on the president because he's a capitalist himself. So he's bringing that attributes to the economy.
No, he's never. I don't know in any forum where he told you he was a capitalist.
Well, we see that in the system of his style of leadership, whether it's in Lagos or in Nigeria.
No, Nigeria economy macro-wise was liberalized before him.
But he has taken it further, hasn't he?
He's even creating a mixed economy system. A progressive government that is having social investment program, you cannot call it a capitalist. No pure capitalist country in the world today. Even America have social investment program.
But does that take away capitalism from the system?
There's no absolute capitalism in the world today. We started liberalizing our system in 2003. Those that drove the liberalization of Nigeria that put on this economic quagmire today, they are all assembled in the ADC. In fact, they are the founders of the ADC who created National Council of Privatization. That is the beginning of capitalism in the Fourth Republic. Was Obasanjo, who was the head of the National Council of Privatization?
Atiku.
Who was the head of Bureau for BPP?
That's right,
Oh, sorry, BPE.
That was also verified.
Exactly.
Excuse me. Beyond all that.
At times when we are on air, don't provoke my thinking.
Okay.
Just they ask the question. People know, I don't want to take all our memory. Rain will fall throughout that day. It will not stop.
Oh my goodness.
You understand?
Okay.
So Tinubu is a progressive-minded person. All Progressive Congress. Right now, you are having an ADC that is directionlessness.
But can we still
Nobody has asked them.
tax issues?
Nobody has been able to ask every opponent of the reform of this government, what is the alternative? If you are Peter Obi, if you come, you say this one is not good. If you come, are you going to return to subsidy? Are you going to return the naira to 100 naira to dollar? Since you say this one not good, all of them, they are all going to sustain this reform. Go and bet it. None of them will drop it. They will begin to now grant style of implementation. It takes thinking to come up with reform before you even think of implementation. You should give kudos to that man that have sat down to think of an idea that will drive the society for better before you think of those that will think of how it should be implemented. On this program, I told you of Obaseki that I like some of his policies that he created, but what I always emphasize on is the poor, insincere implementation pattern that has made those policies not to yield results. It takes a lot for an idea. Do you know what it takes to go through the process of ideation? Innovative idea like this to come up. Nobody is giving kudos to the head of the Committee on Tax Reform. Nobody. Every day is one attack on the other. Nobody is giving kudos to the members of the committees and every stakeholder that have contributed. Even some of us that are coming on air to bring this analysis, to break it down. Nigeria is full of fault finders. There are no social critics in Nigeria. Every social critic should create an alternative. If you say you criticize my policy direction, you should be able to bring about an alternative policy direction that provides solution to what you said I'm not doing right.
Let's begin to wrap up now.
The process of liberalization started with crude oil.
It has been running all the way.
So until Dangote build a refinery, why did they not implement 400 business outfit, 400 Nigerian-owned, government-owned enterprises, businesses, investments, and companies, including Nikon Luxury Hotel and Transcom ET Hotel that you now see today, that are now owned by individuals. They were all owned by federal government. Who privatized them in the name of liberalization, free economy, capitalism? And we never have an account where any income, any revenue from the sales of more than 400 government assets was lodged.
Okay, like I said, we're wrapping up now.
We are rescuing Nigeria.
Okay.
The APC federal government is rescuing Nigeria. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria must be rescued.
Okay. Yeah, it sure should. But let's talk about what we used to have before now, Federal Inland Revenue Service. Today it is now Nigerian Revenue Service. Some persons will ask, what's in the name? Beyond the name change, in what way does it, if you like, affect their mandate?
From every aspect of the new task, you will see when I said harmonization.
Right.
Right now, a national committee set up by the federal government has come up with a tax direction for states. Before now, the states can through their new tax, they said state edits.
Right.
State edit laws create their own taxes. It's no longer like that.
Everything is harmonized now.
Exactly. That is what has changed. Even when the federal revenue was there, then it was narrowed to federal. Even when it was collecting national revenue. Custom is a national revenue.
Right.
It's not a federal revenue. Custom duties. Crude oil, PPT, petroleum profit tax, is a national revenue, not a federal tax. It's not a federal revenue. Everything was going to the Consolidated Revenue Fund account, which belonged to the nation, not to federal government. It was not going to federal government account. It was going to the federation account. So there was need for that name change. That was why the name change was even backed by Act to make it more effective. It's not about the entire Nigeria. The entire Nigeria have decided that this is the direction the tax system should go, so that every state will not domesticate it.
Interesting. Ajuma, I don't know if you have a question. Otherwise, I think this is what we're going to leave it. Aruna Brimo, this is quite profound and enlightening that you've come to speak to our viewers about these issues regarding the new tax laws today. We'd like to say a big thank you to you once again for taking out time to share with us.
Thank you.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you. Well
All
done.
right, let's take a quick break at this point, everyone. When we return, Jomai and I will tie it up on Global Morning. Do stay with us. Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem?
We're on the road to protest. And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
In a system like ours, one of the challenges you have as a one-off action, but something that is continuous, because in the end, our government is going to whip up policies after policies and then continue to implement them. However, the extent to which citizens, those for whom these policies are meant, to understand them is as important as the policies themselves. And that's why we continue to discuss these issues, to throw more light on what the development is about, so that everybody watching, and even those not watching, at some point will understand why government is doing what it's doing, how it affects them, and what role they also have to play in it.
Very importantly, and also to create the awareness so that information out there will not be misleading.
Right.
A lot of misleading statements concerning these tax reforms. And like Mr. Haruna Baimo said, it's for the benefit of the common man, the benefit of you and I as an individual, as citizens of Nigeria. In fact, the benefit of the nation encompassed.